Hi everyone, today I'm going to discuss about different types of arterial pulse. So first we have to know the normal waveform of a pulse. Normal waveform of pulse occurs due to systolic and diastolic. The first part of the wave is due to systolic pressure and the second part of the wave is due to diastolic pressure. The systolic part limb is called as anacrotic limb. It is called as anacrotic limb, and the remaining limb is called as dicrotic limb. And the wave present in systolic region is called as percussion wave, and the wave which present in diastolic region is called dicrotic notch. The notch is called dicrotic notch. This is the normal waveform of a arterial pulse. So coming to pulse pressure, what is pulse pressure? It is the difference between systolic blood pressure and diastolic blood pressure. The normal levels will be 30 to 60 mmHg. If it is less than 30 mmHg, we can call it as a small volume pulse, and if it is more than 60, we can call it as a large volume pulse. Coming to the types of hypokinetic and hyperkinetic pulse. First, we will discuss about hypokinetic pulse. As the name suggests, it is a low output state, that is small volume. Here, the pulse pressure will be less than 30 mmHg. Examples of this hypokinetic pulse are cardiac failure, shock, mitral stenosis, and aortic stenosis. Coming to the waveform of this hypokinetic pulse, for sure it is a low amplitude pulse with two peaks. Coming to the next one called anacrotic pulse. So in this pulse, it is also known as pulsus parvus et tardus. We can describe this pulse as a low amplitude pulse, slow rising pulse with a late peak. Late peak will be there in this pulse. It is seen in severe aortic stenosis. So as I said, it is a low amplitude pulse, slow rising pulse with a late peak. This is anacrotic pulse. Coming to the hyperkinetic pulse. As the name suggests, it is a large volume pulse with wide pulse pressure. That is, the pulse pressure will be more than 60 mmHg. So, it occurs in high output states like anemia, pyrexia, and beriberi. Along with this, mitral regurgitation and ventricular septal defect also causes hyperkinetic pulse, and this is the waveform of this hyperkinetic pulse. We can see a high amplitude pulse. Coming to next important one, this is collapsing pulse. It is also called as water hammer pulse and Corrigan's pulse. It is called as water hammer pulse or Corrigan's pulse. It is a large volume pulse. This pulse is a large volume pulse, and in this pulse we can see a rapid upstroke will be present with rapid downstroke. Rapid upstroke as well as rapid downstroke. Why rapid upstroke? This is due to high systolic blood pressure, and rapid downstroke is due to low diastolic blood pressure, and this high SBP causes increased stroke volume, and this low diastolic blood pressure causes decreased peripheral resistance. Further, this increased stroke volume stretches the carotid and aortic sinuses. This results in a reflex decrease in peripheral resistance, further decrease in peripheral resistance. So the wave will be looking like this: rapid upstroke as well as rapid downstroke, and it occurs in aortic regurgitation, PDA, rupture of sinus of Valsalva, and AV fistula. This is about collapsing or Corrigan's pulse. Coming to the most important one, pulsus paradoxus. So what is pulsus paradoxus? It occurs with a fall in systolic blood pressure of more than 10 millimeters of mercury with inspiration. So fall in systolic pressure of more than 10 millimeters of mercury with inspiration, and this is seen in pericardial tamponade, massive pulmonary embolism, massive pulmonary embolism, hemorrhagic shock, and severe asthma, any severe obstructive lung diseases, and tension pneumothorax. So, what is the basis behind this pulsus paradoxus means? Consider RV and LV, right and left ventricle, share the same pericardium. In a case of pericardial effusion, right ventricle enlarges with inspiration. Inspiratory filling will be there in RV. So RV enlarges. So interventricular septum moves towards left ventricle. As a result, the left chamber volume will be reduced. So the reduced left ventricular filling. And there is a drop in stroke volume as well as systolic BP with inspiration in this condition. So this is the basic pathology happening in pulsus paradoxus. That's why the stroke volume will be very less and the systolic BP also comes down. So the waveform of this pulsus paradoxus will be something like this one. So during inspiration, the waveforms will be of low amplitude. During inspiration, the waveforms will be of low amplitude. This is about pulsus paradoxus. And there is one other condition called reverse pulsus paradoxus. In this reverse pulsus paradoxus, there will be an inspiratory rise in arterial pressure, which is opposite to pulsus paradoxus. There will be inspiratory rise in arterial pressure. So this occurs in HOCM, hypertrophic obstructive cardiomyopathy, atrioventricular dissociation, and intermittent positive pressure ventilation. This is one of the conditions. So, and remaining there are three simple types of pulse we will see in different conditions. These are pulsus bisferiens. Pulsus bisferiens. So, in this pulsus bisferiens, there will be, it is a single pulse wave with two peaks in systole. It is due to rapid jet of blood through aortic wall, and this occurs in severe AR, AS with AR, and hypertrophic obstructive cardiomyopathy. It is best felt in brachial and femoral arteries. Coming to the next one, pulsus dicroticus. This pulsus dicroticus is a single pulse wave with one peak in systole and one peak in diastole. There is two peaks in systole in pulsus bisferiens. There are one peak in systole and one peak in diastole in pulsus dicroticus. So it occurs in low output states like left ventricular failure, typhoid fever, dehydration, dilated cardiomyopathy, and cardiac tamponade. So this is about pulsus dicroticus, and it occurs due to low stroke volume and decreased peripheral resistance. Coming to the last one, pulsus alterans. So as the name suggests, the alternating small and large volume pulse with regular rhythm is there in pulsus alterans. It is seen in severe left ventricular failure, and it occurs after following a paroxysmal tachycardia and ventricular premature complexes. So one term is called electrical alterans. It is an complexes of alternating small and large complexes in ECG. So coming to the last one, pulsus biseminus. Pulsus biseminus, we will see this condition in distalis toxicity. It is explained by a normal pulse waveform followed by a premature ventricular complexes with a compensatory pass. Normal waveform followed by premature ventricular complexes and with a compensatory pass. This is about pulsus biseminus. Hope you like the video. Thanks for watching. Please share and subscribe to my channel. Thanking you.